them.
With pleasure now, I'm introducing another special guest on my show. This is Anne-Marie Allen joining me for a chat. How are we doing today, Anne-Marie Allen?
Yes, I'm very good indeed. Thank you very much for having me on the show.
Yeah, great to have you on. I'm here to invite you on just to talk about a few singles that a set of singles you have released or going to release. And
hmm
just wanted to ask first, how long have you been doing music for?
Yeah, so I've been doing music probably since I was about 15, so like over half of my life now, but in a professional capacity, probably about something like 2017, 2018, because I went to university. I did quite a creative subject at university, and then I got into writing, basically, like writing songs. From that stage onwards, and that was when I started sort of gigging in more of a professional
Mm.
capacity as an original artist, sort of thing.
That's
Yeah.
great. And I know you sing as well, but do you also do other forms of art, like in the art world as well? You know, like the writing side and the creativity side.
Yeah. So I used to. So I my first degree was in drama and theatre arts, and it was interesting because I actually did a module in playwriting, and that got me into the idea of writing songs.
Hmm.
Because I was like, okay, so I'm quite used to writing plays, so let me see if I can write some songs now as well. And at that point, I was learning a little bit of guitar as well, so it's just kind of putting the two together, and it kind of grew organically. But I didn't get myself to a good enough standard on guitar. So I was like, okay, what I want to do then is just focus on writing songs and how I present those songs as well to the audience. So using those drama skills when I'm sort of like performing with the band as well, you know?
That's good. So like your your creative side with it's like acting or drama. That's been
Mm.
transferable to your the music side, performing arts.
Yeah, absolutely. So I love the arts anyway,
Mm.
and I love all forms of arts really. But yeah, I've gone more and more down the sort of music route now rather than the sort of theatre
Yeah.
route. I think that was like my younger self, but I do enjoy going to the theatre, and I do enjoy seeing musicians present their songs in a way that can be quite
Mm.
theatrical. And I know Mark was saying he wanted me to mention some of the other South Birmingham musicians, and a good friend of mine, Jack Goodall.
Mm.
One of the reasons I really like his music is because I really like the way that he delivers it live. So I
Mm.
really like to go and play live. Obviously, I like the songs and I like the way that he writes in his style, but I particularly like the way they're presented. And that's how I came across Mark, actually, who's been doing the remixes
Yeah.
on this EP with me, because he was a good friend of Jack's as well, and he comes down to both mine and Jack's gigs. So it kind of makes up, a portion of the South Birmingham original live music
Mm.
scene.
What do you think of the scene at the moment around Birmingham and the West Midlands? Could it be better, or do you think it's growing at the moment? It's just coming back from the COVID, isn't it? You know, just trying to find its feet again.
Totally. I think it was really hard during the lockdown for people to really be able to, yeah, like feel heard, because when you've got a camera in front of you, it's just, you kind of lose that authenticity in terms of the audience connection. So I think lockdown did make it a lot harder, but Birmingham specifically, I think it's quite a diverse music scene, and probably because it's quite a diverse city. But I think for Birmingham musicians, there's a lot of venues. There's a lot of venues, and there's a lot of opportunities if you kind of put yourself out there. And we generally, in my experience anyway, sort of South Birmingham. I can't say much about North Birmingham because I've only done a couple of gigs
Mm.
over that way really. Um, but people seem to be very supportive of each other, and there's a lot of kind of like, oh, okay, I'm putting a gig on here. Would you like to support me? And then vice versa. And I think like for me, branching out and doing festivals and meeting people and artists along the way there, that's been a really good opportunity to get gigs elsewhere as well, because you meet other artists and you sort of go, hey, yeah, I like you. I feel like that would fit really cool on the lineup
Mm.
with what I'm doing. And then you can support each other in different areas of the country, which means that you then kind of get a bit more exposure as well. So yeah, that's been quite a cool part of
I
it.
guess it's like networking as well. You know, jamming with
Mm.
other musicians, which is a good thing. I think in this industry, that needs to happen more, doesn't it? Supporting each other.
Totally, totally. Yeah, because there's so many unsigned independent artists that, in my opinion, deserve to be signed. And there is something really humbling about having quite a fruitful and diverse music scene, because I know I'm really into music anyway. So even if I wasn't an artist, I'd still be going to a lot of gigs. And I know over the years I've seen so many amazing artists that it does humble you, because you sort of go, oh right, okay, it's like there's a lot out there, that should be appreciated. So yeah, and that's one of the things I actually like about doing original music. It's not like competitive. Well, for me, it's not competitive. It's more like, wow, yeah, everyone's wicked.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
what would you like to say to people? How important it is to support live venues, entertainment venues? It's more than ever
yeah,
essential, isn't it?
yeah. Particularly more important now with the lockdown and the kind of, yeah, what people who own those venues and the artists as well that make a living out of art. Like, so the people who are doing it as their day job, they're the ones that we want to really look after. Because I know when I first started gigging, because I've always had a full-time job as well, just because I know that there's a lot of amazing artists out there, so I haven't quite got the confidence in myself to be able to say, yeah, I can make this
Yeah.
with like just making a living out of it. So like with that in mind, I think like the people who are doing it as their day job, they're the ones we have to look after the most. Because I remember a time when I was like first starting out, and I was sort of doing a few free gigs, and like, yeah, if it's a charity gig or something, that's totally acceptable. But people who make a living out of it have said to me, no, 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 you art is work, do not uh, think for 1 minute that you can't charge anything, because that undermines us and what we're doing, because we're doing it as our full-time jobs. And when you look at it like that, it does make you understand, the importance of supporting it.
Yeah, some valid points there, actually. Well done
Yeah.
for talking about that. Now, on to music now. So, what I'm going to do is just talk about a couple of the tracks you've sent me. I'm going to start with Money, actually. One of your
Mm.
tracks you sent me. Mark Fingermix has given it a remix, and I've listened to it, and it instantly registers on your brainwave that this is a good, catchy little number. Just tell me more about Money.
Yeah, so money like came about because, so basically in my day job, I'm like I do, it's pretty much social care. So it's like I manage a homeless hostel for young people. So a lot of my values and the stuff that I'm doing in my day job come out in my music quite naturally. So many of my songs, they're written about the human condition, and they can have a political, a very political angle. And for me, it was just about observation. So, and it all stemmed from a time when I was at a party, and it was just loads of rich people, basically, with just like more money than sense, spending too much time on Instagram, not really awake and not really socially conscious enough to realize that actually, like, that's actually quite a sad way to live.
Mm.
So yeah, it's even though it's a catchy, fun song, like the lyrics have got more depth and meaning. There's a lot more to it than that. So yeah, so it's talking about people who spend too much time on Instagram. It's talking about people who, love money, basically, and I found my freedom in yeah, having enough money to get by. But as an artist, it's not always been something that I've valued, as a highest thing. I've got a child now, so I know that I need money to support my child. But I think, like, on the whole, it's like money. This whole money thing, it's a trap, right? Because it's connected to capitalism, and it's connected to this kind of one-track mind that doesn't, you don't really feel alive. So yes, that's where that came from. So observations at that party, and me coming home and going back to the hotel room with my partner, being like, it's like people like just taking the mickey, really. Just
Mm.
this catchy thing came to my mind where I was like, "Oh, we got money," and that was the evolution of it. So, and it started off being like a punk track. So like, and originally the what I had in mind was more punk, and obviously with what Mark's done and remixed it, it sounds more like 80s with what he's done.
Mm.
But it's really, I think it's really cool that people take enough interest in my music to want to remix them, and it can sound equally as good, even though that wasn't like the angle that I was going down, and that means Mark has his stamp on it as well. So it's been really brilliant to work with him and have him sort of let the tracks go off on a kind of tangent of their own in his creative mind, you know.
That's good.
Yeah.
I know he's done another track for you, My Baby Beyond the Shore as well. That's got the kind of new disco that seems to be in at the moment.
Yeah, yeah, and it's funny because I wrote a song called "I Like," which is very disco when I deliver it with a full band, and but I didn't realize disco was really in at the moment until I started doing a bit of DJing and stuff, and I was like, oh, people are really into disco, but that just by it accidentally came about as a disco song. But with Beyond the Shore, when I first wrote it, it was like a blues song, yeah. And then Mark's remixed it, and it's more sort of disco, which again is just an interesting take on things. But myself as an artist, I've never really wanted to be confined by genres.
Mm.
So for me, it's really fun when people decide to like just take things that I've written and just do some funky stuff with them.
Sure, sure. You're not the first person to say, when people put you in boxes or categorize what genres you do,
Yeah,
you are an artist, simple as that, and you
that's
do
it. Yeah,
all genres. Right.
absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
I know the interviews go so quickly, but I've got time just to play one of your tracks. Just wanted to ask you first,
Cool.
where can people follow you on Facebook or social media?
Yeah, yeah. So if you just look for my name, it's Anne Marie Allen. It's double barreled, so it's ANNE hyphen MARIE, and then Allen is ALLEN. You'll find my website, which has got links to Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, the rest of it. Yeah, that's where you'll find me if you're interested.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to ask, what track would you like me to play? I know Money is a good one, and also My Baby Beyond the Shore as well. Take your
Yeah,
pick.
I think probably go with Money because I've just released a music video for that in the version that I did, so I think it would be quite apt to play that one. Yeah.
Great. Well, Anne Marie, Alan, thanks for taking time out to join me today, Danny, on my syndicated show, and we'll get this track
Mhm.
on the airwaves now for you. Great
Nice
chatting
one.
with you.
Thank you, Danny.
Nice one. Yeah.